Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day. Cast your vote.
I go for 5 because I think
Do none of you have your own opinions? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm joking with you.
I think focusing on the fact that everything exists in the now.
What a synchronicity.
Help moving away from being attached to the past.
All right, because there is no past to be attached to.
Yes.
If you understand there's no past to be attached to, it should be easy. Yes?
That's correct.
Then you don't have to work so hard at it, right?
Yeah.
All right. My work here is done.
So
Or maybe not.
no, well, of course I have questions.
Oh, of course. You know, you can make statements. You don't need questions. And the paradox is that sometimes when you make a statement, you actually open a door far wider for us than the question does. But nevertheless, if you have questions, by all means, don't let us stop you.
Thank you. So for me, I'm noticing that what I want to focus on in life is 2 challenges.
What is the first challenge?
The first one is relationships.
Yes.
I feel like I haven't been able to attract. I feel like I want to be. I want to experience a relationship and experience a family.
You have no relationships of any kind in your life?
I had, but nothing that...
You had? So you know no one. You have no friends, no family.
No, I'm sorry. I meant in a romantic relationship as someone to share my life with.
Oh, all right. But you are sharing your life with many people.
As in a,
I think you're missing my point. Why are you calling that out as different than anything else? Why are you making that stand out and making it seem so different to achieve other than the relationships you already have created?
Maybe because I have a specific definition of that relationship that is different from, say, friendship or...
All right. I'm not saying that there aren't relationships that are different in that context, but nevertheless, I'm asking, why are you making it stand out as being so different than attracting any kind of relationship? Maybe it might be that your definition is making it more difficult to attract because you're creating it to be such a rarefied thing.
I believe that's correct.
You're putting it on a pedestal.
Yes.
Well, hard to reach, isn't it? When it's on a pedestal. If you bring it down to earth, like any relationship, I'm not devaluing it, not invalidating it, but if you allow it to be like any relationship, generally speaking, then whatever unique aspects that relationship has for you will be easier to access. But you can't put it on a pedestal and expect to reach it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is very similar to the idea of having a particular assumption, insistence, or expectation for how something should play out. And as we have already said, the formula for following your excitement is to drop all of that assumption and insistence and expectation for what the outcome ought to be, or how it should look, or in what form it should come. So putting things on a pedestal is very similar to that expectation.
And I'm noticing that I'm not only putting it on a pedestal, but I'm also becoming very picky as time goes. Which you would think, I would think it would be the opposite. But so I have like this really strong.
Do you not trust your life to bring you what you truly need? Do you have to engineer every detail to make sure it's right? Because becoming more picky, as you say, is the surest way to get reflections of others who are going to be just as picky about you. Remember, physical reality is a mirror. And if you become too picky, not saying you can't have preferences, But if you become judgmentally picky, then what you're going to get is a reflection of people who are also going to be picky about whether or not they want to interact with you, because that's what you're giving off. Make sense?
Yes.
Is this helping you relax some of your need to engineer this? And is it increasing your ability to trust that your life will unfold as it needs to, a little bit more naturally?
Yes. And to some extent, when I ask myself, okay, if this never happens,
yes,
will I still lead a happy and fulfilled life?
That's an excellent question to ask yourself. Asking that question is the right track.
And my answer to myself is yes, but I'm not sure if that's kind of like a mind kind of like type of answer, or
no,
that's what I truly believe.
Allow yourself to believe it if you wish. You don't have to, but if you allow yourself to believe that you will still be truly happy, even if that relationship never occurs, then you'll be truly happy. And when you are truly happy, you make it far more likely that such a relationship will occur. That's the paradox. Because you don't need it in that context, in the sense of neediness, in the sense of desperation. So when you're happy because you're happy, then all the things that are capable of entering your life to reflect the happiness that you choose to have, regardless of whether they show up or not, will be more capable of showing up. Remember, manifestation is not the product of bringing something to you that you don't have. Manifestation is the product of making visible what you already have, but simply don't see it because you're not in the same wavelength. If the idea of that joyful relationship is representative of happiness, then be happy regardless of whether the relationship is there, so at least you give the relationship a greater probability of showing up to reflect the happiness that you already have, because you don't need the relationship to make you happy. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Absolutely.
What is the second great challenge of your life?
It's somewhat you touched on, in your answer, you kind of like touched on it already, which is...
All right. So it might be the same challenge in different clothing.
It's very possible.
Oh, all right. Yes, I know.
It's about financial abundance.
Yes, well, we did touch on that.
So yeah,
do you wish to be abundant?
Yes, I mean...
Then be abundant in all ways, not just financially. Why limit it? Many people think, oh, well, if I have a lot of money, then I'm really abundant. When in fact, having a lot of money could actually be shutting the door to other forms of abundance that would actually be greater. Money is fine because that's a valid symbol on your planet, but it isn't always the path of least resistance to true abundance. Where it's needed, it will come in. Where it's not needed, it won't. And sometimes it not coming in is actually a way for you to get an idea that maybe another form of abundance would actually work better in that circumstance. Such as we described with regard to the photographer. You understand?
Yes, and you know, I'm always prosperous, but it's almost like there's a wall where it kind of taps out. And
again, you're creating the wall with your definitions. There are no walls except as you define them. But again, you may be defining that wall because you believe you need more of a particular kind of abundance than any other. And as soon as you make one form of abundance unequal to all the rest, you throw the whole thing out of whack. All forms of abundance must be equally valid in order for any form of abundance to come to you more easily. As soon as you single one out as being more important, you shut the doors through which all the other forms could come, and you actually make it more difficult for even the form you're focused on to manifest, because now it can't count on the support of all the other forms of synchronous abundance that may be required for that form to manifest. Because they all work together. They all work together. They are not segregated. All forms of abundance support all other forms of abundance. As I said in the example with the photographer, even though she was willing to simply be flown around the world in exchange for the photographs, the airline still paid her. So her willingness to allow one form of abundance actually attracted another form of abundance, and another form, and another, because they're all interconnected. So don't insist on just one form. Otherwise you, well, shortchange yourself.
Thank you. So you can't say, I'm just going to, it's a game. I'm just going to focus on this one thing and figure out a way to make it work.
You can if you wish, but I'm simply telling you that sometimes when you do that, you're taking the longer road. But if that's the road you wish to take, if that's the path you're exploring, if that's the theme you're looking into, then by all means, that's what you will keep doing until you have gotten every single ounce of understanding and learning out of it that you chose to get out of it. And I'm not going to stop you or dissuade you from taking that path. I am simply telling you what the underlying mechanisms are all about so that you have clarity about why you're choosing what you're choosing and why you're exploring what you're exploring. So that you don't think anything is wrong, you just understand that you're making choices and that there are consequences to those choices and that you can make other choices if you ultimately prefer to. And that's all we're telling you. It's up to you. Does that help?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And there was one question that was brought to me by one of the audience. How can you tell if someone is lying?
We already answered that. What difference does it make?
I'm just the messenger. I don't.
All right, but the idea really is ultimately what difference does it make? If you know that whatever state of being you're creating for yourself is what you will experience no matter what anyone else's intention toward you is, it doesn't really much matter if they're lying to you or not, because you know that the only effect you're going to have in your reality is going to be a positive one regardless of what's going to happen with them. You understand?
Yes.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.